I'm George.
I'm Liz.
We've been married now almost 9 years.
A couple years after we were married, we started a family, and I guess we've been married about a year and a half and had our first daughter, and a year and a half after that had our second daughter, and 2 years later had our third daughter. And then
last year
we welcomed a little boy.
Growing up, my dad was a farmer, and so growing up through that, learned a lot about money. But it used, as typical with most farmers, a lot of times they use a lot of debt, and so it's kind of how I was taught growing up, and that's kind of where I went.
When I was growing up, I was the third kid in line, and parents didn't talk a lot about money, but it wasn't like a hush-hush topic either. And so I kind of had avoided credit cards all the way through college, although I did end up having some student loan and stuff like that.
Shortly after we were married, we found a local church that was putting on FPU. Took a lot of the information. We didn't totally buy it all at that point in time.
Things kind of turned upside down for us when our third daughter became sick. Turns out she was diagnosed with a malignant tumor, and our world just turned upside down. She was just 12 months old at the time. We had a almost 2-year-old and a 3-year-old at the time, and everything stopped. To find out your child has cancer is just startling. I mean, it's indescribable. We ended up just kind of holding on. We're in survival mode. No more, grocery planning or anything. It was just, you had to feed the family. You just grabbed food, put it on the table, and in survival mode for quite some time. When we were in the local children's hospital in the oncology unit, I was sitting there and I was obviously terrified for her, but also I'm like, how much is this gonna cost us? She ended up having 6 rounds of chemotherapy over the next 6 months or so. She'd have 1 week of chemo in the hospital, and then we'd have 2 weeks home. We had a couple extra visits back to the hospital in those 2 weeks, sometimes with complications. Overall, that's what we did. We were just holding on. Through that time, it was amazing how much generosity we were blessed with. People we didn't know or friends of friends, we would get a gift card in the mail or for gas or groceries or whatever. It was just incredibly overwhelming to be given that much support and help by some strangers. I mean, friends, former coworkers that we hadn't worked with or seen in years. Just amazing how fortunate we felt that people entrusted us. Here, we think you need this, and it was such a blessing to us.
I felt responsible for making sure that we got in a position where we could do the same thing. That's really when the turning point happened, where we really kind of said, no, we need to get debt-free and get debt-free as soon as we can. We started not eating out as much, not doing, really finding those spots in the budget where we could find that extra money to start throwing at it.
Canceled Netflix.
She started, selling everything in the house.
Switching to cash, kept me accountable. The envelope's empty, we're gonna have what's in the cabinet, and often the end of the month we'd have some interesting meals, if you can call them meals, I'm not sure sometimes. What's really important in life, I think that's what's really changed our perspective over the last couple years of this process of between the illness and then also just getting to be debt-free. What's important to us? Is it curtains and nice cars, or is it health and helping others and having a testimony to share and encourage others? Now that we are debt-free and kind of feel like we've got our own household taken care of, we hope to just be able to give. I mean, it's kind of a constant reminder. We have to remind ourselves that it's not our money anyway, it's God's money, and that we need to seek His guidance in what we need to do with what we've been blessed with.